Let's talk about disgust from inside out too, but specifically the psychology of disgust and why it could be good for us. Now, disgust is looked upon, and even the word of it sounds very negative. You're disgusted by something. That is a negative emotion. But the thing is that disgust can actually help us stay away from things that not only are nasty physically, but if someone is giving you like emotional turmoil, you might get disgusted by them because your body and your soul and your mind doesn't want you near them. You're protecting your own peace by being disgusted. Like when you get the ick for a guy or a girl, that's your body telling you like, hey, stay away from that person. Disgust also keeps us clean, like just in general. If you smell bad, you should want to take a shower. Or if some object smells bad, you might not want to touch it or get near it. Disgust helps us stay aware of things that might be bad for us, whether that might be in life or something just as simple as eating broccoli.
Hey, family. Sometimes it's not anger or sadness you're feeling, it's disgust. And that's not a bad thing. You just saw it. When something stirs a deep discomfort in your soul, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. In this episode of The Power of Emotions Take Back Your Power, we're pulling back the curtain on disgust, the emotion we often suppress or mislabel, but one that God designed as a spiritual boundary alarm. So, if you've ever been in a space around a person or in a mindset that felt off and you couldn't explain it, this episode is for you. Let's talk about the difference between judgment and discernment, explore scripture, and embrace the truth that disgust doesn't mean you're hateful. It means you're whole enough to walk away. All right, now, let's get into it.
Automatic redirection. Tired of being tested on the same lesson. Get the money, keep collecting. I expect the best and nothing less. I bet I get it. Automatic redirection. Tired of being tested on the same lesson. Get the money, keep collecting. I expect the best and nothing less. I bet I get it.
Hey, family. As you can see, we are talking about disgust today. So, welcome back to Man of Motivations podcast. It is I, your host, Dominique Bishop. Let's go ahead and get into disgust and talk about the boundary keeper. All right. Again, this is a part of the series, The Power of Emotions Take Back Your Power. And please, if you get the opportunity, go back and check out the other episodes. If this is your first episode you're seeing, go back and check the other ones out. We talk about different major emotions that we are biologically equipped with, right? But there's a difference between feelings and emotions. Emotions are biological. We are engraved in them. They are in us. They're part of our DNA. They're part of our makeup. We're going to naturally react. The feelings that come behind the emotions is something that's derived from our experiences, right? Triggers, things like that, things that have happened to us in the past. So you have your emotions, then you have your feelings that are reactions to your emotions. What are some reactions to emotions? You might cry, you might laugh, you might be scared, you might be in shock to where you can't do anything at all. That's where you have your fight or flight response. All right. But this one today, we're talking about your boundary keeper disgust. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm not going to be before you long today. So this podcast won't be as long as the others. I know I've been on here for a little minute. Sometimes I'll be on here for almost an hour. But I'm working on my time management, guys. I'm working on my time management, so the podcast won't be too long. Or if you get to a certain point, then I'll go back to making part ones and part twos. So let's jump into it. Disgust. Disgust is an emotion that people don't really talk about a lot, right? The only time you really talk about disgust, and it might be briefly, is if you're disgusted by something. Um, When you talk to somebody, or let's say, for example, you go into therapy, you go to therapy for what? Anger issues, right? Depression, feeling sad, right? Marriage counseling, you're in love, right? But not really do we go talk to somebody about things that we're disgusted by. And I'm, there's different types of disgust, because you have regular disgust, right? Like we're talking about the boundary keeper, which is something that protects and shield us from certain things. And I'm gonna tell you something a little scientific later on about how our disgust has evolved. But a lot of disgust that people have is judgmental. Let's look at our current administration, everything that's happening in America right now. A lot of things that are happening in America right now are based on biases and based on people's disgust towards other people. And that's purely judgmental, because it's a type of disgust that says, I'm better than you. Okay. That is not the type of disgust that we're going to talk about. That is an unproductive disgust. Okay. That is what you want to steer away from. It's not a disgust of judgment, right? No one's better than anyone else. We're all equal, right? We were all created equal. Some may be more talented than others. Some may be better presenters than others. Some may be better athletes than somebody else. We were all created equal. Equal. Why I can't say that word? I get tripped up on some of these words. It used to be accountability, but now I take my time, but I can say that. The other one, one word that was vulnerability. There you go. And now equality. There we go. We have some issues sometimes. All right. So y'all like my new cup? I'm very happy about this cup, by the way. Sidebar, sorry. It keeps things cold up to about like 15 hours. I'm loving this cup. I've been drinking more water than ever now. Cold water. All right. So sorry for the sidebar. So disgust gets a bad rap. And it's actually a spiritual and biological alarm system that's designed to protect your values and preserve your peace. Okay. Again, we're not talking about judgmental disgust. Okay. We're not talking about, oh, I don't like them because of this, or I don't like that because of that. It's not the better than, it's not the judgment. Okay. This is something that's protecting your values and preserving your peace. What's the root for disgust? Where does it stem from? Moral violations. When something violates your ethical or spiritual standards. What's aversion? It's an aversion to harm. Okay, this is a sense of discernment. Okay, a biological. What is wrong with me today? Bear with me, y'all. I think because I might be moving too fast. My brain's moving too fast. Let me slow it down a little bit. Um, like I said, an aversion to harm, right? So it's a biological instinct that helps us avoid danger or toxicity physically or emotionally. It's also internal misalignment when you feel out of sync with your beliefs or values. All right. What are some related feelings to disgust? Contempt, repulsion, rejection, and disappointment. Again, remember, we're not talking about judgment. We're talking about protecting your peace and preserving your boundaries. Okay. So what are some things I want you to think of some things that disappoint you, or think of some things that you reject, or think of some things that repulse you. Um I give myself for example. I really don't like smoke, cigarette smoke. I can't I do not like the smell of cigarette smoke. And I'm never going to say, oh, I'm better than a cigarette smoker. No, it's not that. I just do not like the smell of cigarette smoke. I do not like the smell of honey buns. And I think maybe because when I was a kid, I used to eat them so much as a kid. Now, as an adult, I haven't had a honey bun. I honestly can't even tell you the last time I had a honey bun. It was probably when I was a teenager, the last time I had a honey bun. The smell of a honey bun repulses me. Seriously. Another scent, mayonnaise. Ew. Can I eat it? I can eat it a little bit. It's not one of my favorite condiments. I'm not going to put it on any and everything. Some people love mayonnaise. For example, my wife, she wants extra. I myself, not a fan of it. Can't stand the smell of it. Don't really like it on my sandwiches unless there's nothing else around I could put on it. I'd rather use mustard than mayonnaise. Okay. So those are just simple things. The lower level of disgust that we're talking about, right? But that's also protecting our boundaries. So my rejection and repulsion to those certain things keep me away from them, right? So that's the biological side of it, right? That's the biological side of it. And we're going to get deeper into this and talk about the other side. The power frame for disgust. Disgust is your built-in boundary detector. It lets you know when something or someone doesn't align with your spirit, your growth, or your God-given identity. Let's switch lanes and go into that. And now talking about the science behind disgust. Like I said, we were going to get into disgust is one of the 6 universal human emotions. Okay. We talked about others. Go back and look at the past podcasts. Um, it originates in the insula, insula, the insula. Now, the insula is a part of the brain that's responsible for perception, self awareness, and emotional processing. Okay. It evolved as a protection mechanism. So, thinking of human beings, how we have evolved over time. When we first were here in the beginning, the insula in our brain, it was for us to protect us from rotten foods or harmful foods, right? That was its basis. That's what it was meant for. Think about how if you think back to early the development of mankind and how they were searchers and gatherers, went out hunting for food and went out, had to eat off the land and things like that, not eating this processed stuff that we eat now. There were no such thing as ready-made meals back in those times and in the beginning of humankind, right? So they went out foraging for food. So back then, that part of the brain was utilized to tell whether something was good or whether something was bad, whether something was good for you to eat or not good for you to eat. A survival thing, right? Still a protector, right? Now, since we have evolved and we have ready-made meals for us already, we don't have to go out and hunt and gather. We can go to the grocery store and get our food, or go to a restaurant and have it prepared for us. Excuse me. If you look at society and how things have evolved over time and how we have, as the human race has evolved over time, the same parts of our brain has also evolved, but it's still utilized in the same manner, right? So it's not just about food anymore, even though that is still part of it. That's the basis of it. But because we've evolved, that part of our brain has also evolved. So now it helps to develop into a response to moral, social, and spiritual violations. So now we're getting deeper. Okay, so it's not just about food. It's not just about stuff being rotten and spoiled. Hey, don't eat that. Now it's, hey, don't go in that house. Hey, don't get in that car. Hey, what? Be careful. Now let's be real. Let's talk about, it's October, so let's talk about horror for a second. I love a good horror movie. Um, more so of um, the paranormal kind. Uh, think about how, and this is a cultural thing. Think about how certain cultures react to scary movies. You know, the typical, black response to certain stuff is, "Hey, don't go in there. Don't go looking for that. You heard a sound, you go the other way. You heard some, you in the house by yourself, and you heard something upstairs. You're not going upstairs to go see what it is, right? Is that's that innate ability within us to just like, hey, yeah, no, I'm not dealing with that, right? Or you get that sense, or you get that feeling. Let me tell you a quick story. I remember I was coming back home. I was living in Calumet City in Illinois. Um, and I was coming from downtown Chicago, and I had to get on the red line. 'Cause I was coming from the north side, so I had to get taking the red line from the north side, and I had to take it all the way to 95th, which is that's a long ride. If anybody knows about the red line, it's from Chicago. You know that's a minute. So while I was on the train and it was late, it was past 11 o'clock. I remember that. I was trying to get home to make that last pace bus because I was going to the suburbs. So I remember getting on the red line, and from the north all the way to from the north side of the city all the way to maybe, I don't know, all the way down to Roosevelt, things were cool, right? I was cool, listening to my music, had one headphone. That's because you always got to be aware, especially late at night, you out there traveling by yourself. But this guy, this guy got on the red line. I forgot what stop he got on at, but as soon as he got on the train, I was looking at him, and I felt so uneasy. I felt so uneasy. And he sat down on the opposite end, but he and I were in perfect eyesight of each other. And you know how you try not to look at somebody, you trying to avoid them. So I was trying to do that, but I felt him looking at me, and sure enough, I did a quick little glance, and he was like staring at me. And it was another lady, another person, and somebody else was on the train too. But I was like, I do not feel comfortable being. I was like, please, I hope they stay on here to 95th. I don't. Please stay on here to 95th Street. I was like, I was hoping he was gonna get off before they got off, or either they were gonna stay on until I had to get off, one or the other. Because you can clearly tell I was by myself. We got to a certain stop. They were getting up and getting off. I had to take a chance. Do I stay on this train with him by myself at almost 11:30 at night, or do I get off the train too? So, feeling so uneasy, I felt led to go ahead and get up and get off the train. We pulled up to, what station was that? I want to say 79th. I think it was 79th. And I got off at 79th. The other people were getting off a set because I saw them getting up. Before you get to your stop, you get up and you start to get ready to get out. So I got up and I got off with them. He didn't get up, thank God. He did not get up. So I got off with them, and there was some other people standing on the platform. It was lit. I felt comfortable. I just stood there and waited for the next train. If I missed my bus, it was going to be oh well, but something was telling me to get up and get off that train. When they got up and got off that train, I did not feel comfortable staying on that train with that man, because like he just kept staring at me and I felt so uneasy. So that's another form of that discernment and that disgust, right? um the way he made me feel, the way he was looking at me, I felt uneasy. I didn't feel right about anything. That protection, that boundary, that feeling, that gut feeling, that insula was in high gear. Hey, let's get out this train. We don't know what he got going on, but we know what we not gonna do is stay on this train. So I got off and waited for the next one to come, and then took that to 95th. And it was so crazy when I got to 95th. I saw him again, but he was getting on another train to head back into the city. So I'm guessing he was just riding the trains that night, riding the trains. He didn't see me, but I saw him. And I saw him still on the platform, and I was going up to go get on the buses. So, whew, made my bus, made it home. Hallelujah, thank God. But that's just an example of something that we're talking about here, with dealing with spiritual violation, social, moral, all of that type of stuff, using it as a signal. Okay, so spiritual significance, what I was just talking about. Disgust can be a divine signal to remove yourself from situations, behaviors, or relationships that defile your soul. Now, this is a little bit deeper than what I was just talking about. So, as far as defiling your soul, I'm going to repeat that again. Disgust can be a divine signal to remove yourself from situations, behaviors, or violations that defile your soul. What are we talking about? Things that go against your morals, things that go against your spirituality, what you believe in, right? Why do those things that go against your moral standing? Okay. That's what we're not going to do. So, a call to action is for you to clean your house, clean your energy, and choose better. Make better decisions that align with your morals. If it does not align with your morals, don't do it. If you hanging out with people that make you itch, get away from them. I'm just being real. I don't like being around people that I don't mesh with. And I'm not talking about being anti or anything. I'm talking about you know, we just don't vibe together. I'm the type of person that when I go out, I like to go out, chill, be around positive energy. I might go to a lounge or something. It could be that, or just going to hang out with my wife. When we hang out with our friends, it's positive vibes, right? I don't want to be around no negative Nancy. I don't want to, do all that. I don't want to be around all the hooting and hollering all the time. Like I vibe differently. I like cool, peaceful type of flows. You're not gonna necessarily see me in a club. Maybe when I was younger, but nowadays you're not gonna really see Dominique in the club. If I'm in the club, it's because somebody asked me to come for a very specific reason. It's somebody's birthday and they want to go to the club. All right, cool, I'll pop in, but I'm not gonna be there all night. You might get a good hour out of me, and then I'm like, okay, this is okay. I'm overstimulated. This is too much. I'm about to go. Especially if it's too many people. Oh my God, too many people. I need space to move around. And then too, I'm looking for somewhere to sit. If you having me stand up all day, I need somewhere to sit down. I need somewhere to rest. I need somewhere to, if I need to lean over or do some. I'm not in that position anymore where I want to. It's not that I can't. I don't want to. When you get to certain age, there's certain things that you want and you don't want, and you become firm on that. That's how you have to be in life, especially with dealing with disgust. If there are certain things or certain people that disgust you, again, not in a judgmental way, but if you're trying to make a change in your life, if you're going from being a smoker to a non-smoker, or from a drinker to a non-drinker, or from I don't know, somebody who eats meat to somebody who's a vegetarian or pescatarian, or you're going vegan, right? We're not doing this whole, oh, I'm better than you because I don't do that anymore, because I don't smoke anymore, because I don't drink anymore. No, it's not that. If you don't want to be influenced by it, if you don't want to be around it, you don't have to be. Start finding you a different crowd, right? So choose better for yourself, okay? Including the people you hang out with, your surroundings. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. I've never been that person. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I've just never been that person. Like, you really can't make me do what I don't want to do. If I'm not comfortable with it, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. If I feel out of place with it, I'm not going to do it. If something disgusts me, I don't want to be around it. Point blank and period. Right? If somebody who is an avid uh drug or heavy drug user, and I don't take drugs, or I'm disgusted by that action, why would I be around that? Why would I put myself in that situation? Right? If there's something that's going on that is going against my morals or what I believe in or my standards, why would I continue to put myself in that situation? No, I'm not. I'm not going to continue to put myself in that situation. I'm going to get from around that, and I'm going to find my people that match my energy, that match my vibe, that match my morals. Let's just be real, right? That's what you have to do sometimes. And sometimes, if that's, you know, stretching yourself and developing new friendships, do that. Sometimes it could be you separating yourself from your family. That's a hard situation sometimes, but for some people it's easy, because you have some people who are completely different from their family. I know some people who be like, I don't, sometimes I feel I grew up thinking I wasn't even supposed to be with them because I'm so different from them. Right. And I have my instances too where I grew up and I was like, is this the family I'm supposed to be? Because I felt different. I always felt different. But that was me being my own person as well. And now that I'm an adult and I can move how I want to move, it's different when you're a child. You can't really move how you want to move. But when you get to that certain age and you got money in your pocket and you can start moving how you want to move, make that move. Do what you want to do. Just make sure it's not violating your morals and going against your own moral code. And there shouldn't be no spiritual violations, right? Let's get into the word here. Psalm 101 and 3, New International Version reads, I will not look with approval on anything that is vile. I hate what faithless people do. I will have no part in it. Psalm 101, 3, New International Version reads, again, I say, I will not look with approval on anything that is vile. I hate what faithless people do. I will have no part in it. The second scripture we have here is Proverbs 8:13, also New International Version. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior, and perverse speech. So, again, this is not coming from a judgmental place. This is not coming from judgmental or shaming. It is going against your spiritual sensibilities, going against your morals. Okay? Basically, good versus bad. What aligns with your good? What aligns with your good? What aligns with what it is that you're trying to do? To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior, and perverse speech. You got people around you talking crazy. You not down with that? Get away from them. Because one thing about it is you can't change other people unless they want to be changed. So that's part of the judgmental thing. I'm gonna use this example, right? So let's say I'm gonna use some general. I'm not gonna say getting saved because not everybody may understand what getting saved is. Like if you grew up in a church, you might understand that, but somebody might be watching this that hasn't necessarily have a church background like I do. Um, let's say something as simple as getting off drugs, right? Let's say you were on drugs and then you finally decided to get off. You start going to the meetings, you start going to rehab, you start doing better for yourself, and you make a commitment to not do it again, and you working on your sobriety. Well, what we're not gonna do is work on our sobriety and go back to the other people that are still on drugs and say, well, yeah, no, I can't be around you because like I'm better than you now. I don't do drugs anymore, so we can't be friends. Like what? Or talking down to people. You get what I'm saying? Now for the church folk, now I could talk about getting saved. You know how you have people that get saved, and once they get saved, you know, they act completely different than how they used to act. It's like you don't know how to be saved and be real. They get saved and then it's, oh, I'm better than you. Oh, I do this now. Oh, oh no, I don't do that, honey. Oh no, this, no, no, I can't do that. I can't go over there. I can't. Be human, interact, right? But not, don't be judgmental. Okay, that's what I need y'all to understand. This disgust thing is not about being judgmental. It's not about being judgmental. You can be disgusted by things, but not in a way that you are feeling better about yourself or you're shaming other people. You're going to hear me say it again later. So, again, the two scriptures are Psalm 101:3 and Proverbs 8:13. Disgust versus judgment. Here we go. Again, disgust is about boundaries, not boundaries, not superiority. The disgust that's going on in the administration right now, I believe I said this earlier, it's about superiority. What's the word again? Superiority. It's not about boundaries. They're not caring about boundaries because they're crossing all of the moral boundaries that they can. They even crossing spiritual boundaries. I mean, what's happening in our nation right now is purely demonic. It truly is. I firmly believe that it is purely demonic because it's coming from hate, it's coming from superiority, it's coming from a disgust of judgment, trying to put people in their place in order for others to rise, right? When it's distorted, disgust again turns into judgmentalism and shaming. What's happening right now in our administration? People are being judged, people are being shamed. For what? Because we just want to live. All because of differences. All because of this demonic, just, it's sickening. It's truly sickening what's happening in our nation right now. It's a disgust of a different form. And it shouldn't be happening, but it is happening. Healthy disgust says, this isn't for me. What we talked about earlier. Hey, I mean, hey, you drink, you smoke, that's cool, but that's not for me. Do you? If that's what you do, you comfortable still doing that, do you. I'm not here to tell you different. It's just not for me. I'm not gonna judge you because you still want to do what you want to do. It's just not for me. So I'm not gonna do it. A healthy disgust says, I'm better than you. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Cause I mean, that's just what better people do. When you heal, and you've been sober for so long, like you just don't do that. So you need, hey man, you need to stop that so you can be better too. It's not coming from a place of love. It's not, hey man, I'm concerned about your health because you've been drinking too much. It's coming from, well, I stopped drinking, so you need to stop drinking too. I mean, I'm better than you, man. I don't want to hang around you. I want to hang with all that mess. I got other stuff going on. It's more important than all of this. That's not the tone we want to take. It's not disgust by being judgmental or feeling superior. It's a disgust of protection. A good example is this is one of my favorite events in the Bible because it showed the human side. There were pretty a few times in the Bible that showed the human side of Jesus, but I really like this one the most. And when Jesus flipped the tables over in the temple. All right, let me read the scripture. So it's Matthew 21, verses 12 to 13. And Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. It is written, he said to them, my house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers. Jesus went in there and flipped them tables over. I love that. I love that for Jesus. He flipped them tables over. He was mad. He was mad. He was upset. He went in there and flipped those tables over. Get out of here. It's supposed to be a house of prayer. You turn it into a den of thieves, to a den of robbers. But he didn't do it out of hate. He did it out of holy disgust for the misuse of a sacred space. Right? He wasn't in there being judgmental. No, he wasn't in there being judgmental at all. And he didn't do it out of hate towards the people. He didn't hate those people. He was purely upset at how they were misusing the house of the Lord. A lot could be said for that, but that's a different podcast. Look at all the stuff that's happening in the church now. I truly believe that if Jesus were to be walking the earth now, I truly don't believe that he would be in the churches. I don't believe he would be in the churches. He will be out on the street doing street ministry. He will be beyond the four walls, and that's what the churches need to do. They need to get beyond the four walls. Now, I do understand forsake not the assembly of your brethren. I understand that, but sometimes people wholly depend on that, and that shouldn't be. Let's talk about a couple of little gender differences between feminine and masculine. So socially, women or those with feminine attributes may be shamed by expressing disgust, and they're looking at them as you're too picky, right? For men or those with masculine attributes, you may be told tough it out or normalize the unacceptable. We're not doing that. So what we're trying to teach here is honor your discernment. If something feels spiritually off, trust that inner alarm. It don't matter who you are. Male, female, he, she, they, them. It don't matter who you are. Trust that inner alarm and protect yourself. What are some harmful and versus healthy expressions? Harmful. expressions of disgust: self righteousness, public shaming, being passive aggressive. Those three things go together perfectly. And that's what people do when they're judgmental. They have a self-righteous attitude about themselves. I'm better than you. The public shame. You shouldn't be doing that. A passive aggressiveness. Trying to say something like it's a compliment when it's really not, trying to be slick. The healthy expressions: disengagement, pulling yourself away. Boundary setting. Hey guys, I know y'all like to drink and smoke and do all this and do all that. But if you don't mind, we're getting ready to go to an establishment that doesn't have all that. So if y'all want to come, you could come. That's cool. But I'm just letting you know it's not gonna be no drinking and smoking going on. You're setting boundaries. Hey, I don't mind y'all drinking and smoking wherever y'all at or what you do, but when you come to my house, ain't no smoking in the house. And the bar is closed. All right. You're setting boundaries, letting people know, hey, this is what it is. When you set your boundaries and you make your boundaries known to other people, um, what it is it's a way of you to invite them in while also letting them know, hey, while you're here, this is what you have to abide by. And this is what I will not allow, what I don't want to allow. You're more than welcome to come. But if you don't feel comfortable because of these boundaries, fine by me. But understand, I have to protect myself. I have to protect my peace. That's what that is. Redirecting energy into growth and advocacy, right? I love this one because when um when I'm doing certain things and people have come to me and be like, you've changed. I can see your growth. I can see this. I can see that. How did you do such and so and so? I don't mind explaining to people the things that I went through and talk to them about certain circumstances, situations that happened in my life, and then also showing them how I got through those things. Right. So, what are some real life examples here? So, feeling disgusted by gossip, yet staying in the room. I'm not disgusted by gossip. Nasty gossip, yeah, maybe, but nasty gossip, I'm not gonna be a part of. I mean, gossip is gossip, but you do have some real nasty gossip out there. People call it, girl, I'm gonna give you the tea. Some stuff I don't want to hear, but some stuff I'll be like, wait a minute now, what's the tea? Especially if it's real hot tea. Ooh wee, just being real. Staying in a toxic environment that makes your spirit uneasy. Stated this before. If you somewhere and you clutching your pearls, I can't stand being in a place and I see people like that. And they come, it's like you coming just to judge. Like they come into the establishment and they sitting there and they arms folded and they just looking around and they just making faces and they like, You not happy here? You're not enjoying yourself. You just came to judge. So you can take that and go and gossip about it. That's all you doing. Stop doing that. If you don't want to be there, don't come. We don't need your negative energy there. Let people that want to be happy be happy. And you be miserable somewhere else. We don't need the judgmentalness. We don't. We do not. Thank you. Um your disgust is not disrespect. It is discernment. Again, it's not disrespect. It's not being judgmental. It's discernment. It's different from what I was just talking about. Okay. That's the main differentiation that I want y'all to understand throughout this whole thing. So, what's our challenge for the week? We almost done. What's our challenge for the week? The challenge for the week is to pay attention to what stirs disgust in you this week. I want you to ask yourself, is this triggering a deeper boundary I haven't honored yet? Is this triggering something in me that I haven't taken care of? Right? What's going on? Practice a silent exit. a spiritual reset, and emotional protection. Everybody don't have to know when you're leaving. Everybody don't have to know that you're not necessarily a part of it. You don't have to make an announcement every time you make a change in your life. Just make the change and keep it moving. People are going to see the change. People are going to notice the change. People are going to see it because there's going to be evidence of it, right? We don't have to announce everything. Move in silence. Your affirmation. Repeat after me. You know, we do this 3 times. I trust my disgust. I honor my inner alarms. I am allowed to walk away from what doesn't align with my peace, purpose, and power. Number 2, I trust my disgust. I honor my inner alarms. I am allowed to walk away from what doesn't align with my peace, my purpose, and power. Number 3, the last time. I trust my disgust. I honor my inner alarms. I am allowed to walk away from what doesn't align with my peace, my purpose, and my power. Hold on to that. So, just to go over what we talked about, disgust is not about hate, it's about health. All right? It's not about hate, it's about health. It's not about being judgmental, it's about protecting your boundaries, protecting yourself. Okay? We're not out here being judgmental and being nasty to people. We're not following suit of the current administration that we have in office. We're better than that. We're going to do better. We're going to be better. All right? Again, disgust is not about hate, it's about health. And with that, family, I love you and I appreciate your support in watching these podcasts. I got an interview coming up that I'm gonna share with you guys. It's a really good interview. Actually, somebody came back from season 1 and talked again. So you look forward to that. We're gonna get into some more AI talk. If you're interested in learning about AI and learning about some different AI platforms, that will be a perfect episode for you. But yeah, I'm excited. And season 2 is going to be coming to a close soon. I'm just about finished with this series. I wanted to make sure I got this series in one season all together. And then I'm, of course, probably going to take a break for the holidays. But I'm still going to push some content out and keep in touch with you all. I'm still posting videos. I'm do some other stuff too. I've been exploring with some things. And yeah, we're going to push this right along. And then we'll be back with season 3 and we're going to hit it again. Okay. So as always, remember that your crown may be tilted, but never ever let it fall. Peace and love.
Automatic redirection. Tired of testing